want to use my toothpaste, but I can't because there's none in this place. To my dismay, now my breath will stink today. I should have bought some more at the store, but I thought that I had some more, but stinky breath is just one thing that I didn't account for.
I will get cavities worse than my dentist ever seen. Hey, look at me, don't be like me. Get some toothpaste and clean your teeth. Brush them up and brush them down. Not side to side, don't make me frown. Hey, buddy, what's the time? 2:30. Ow!
My dental calamity, I should care more for my teeth. And just when my dentist removed me from her register, oh no, my teeth. My dental calamity, I should care more for my teeth. Now I will have to do my own DIY dentistry. Oh no, my teeth.
My dental calamity, I should care more for my teeth. Oh, and just when my tools are in the shop. Oh, my dentist tools. Oh no, my teeth.
I go online, find a how-to, and to dentist in the bathroom. Take some tweezers, pull my teeth out. Now I'm bleeding.
I will get cavities and my dentist will tell you later when I made a note. That's when you do. Put them up and down and down. Big baby, what's the time?
My dental calamity, I should care more than my kids. And just when my dentist removed me, then hereditary.
I know my
My dental calamity, I should care more for my day. Now I will have to do my own DIY dentistry.
Oh no, my teeth.
My dental calamity, I should care more for my day. And just when my dentist removed me, my dentistry. And then I hear.
Hello, everybody. You just listened to a song that I made around 5 years ago. Yes, Level Joy, it is British music. I'm glad, glad everyone enjoyed it so much. We got Veg Met Codbod in the chat. It's nice to see you. Leon is excited. Muddy Paws is in. Herbrivore. Martin is back. That's good. Joy. Who else we got? I think that's everyone. Yeah, Herbivore. I made this song 5 years ago. It's about not having a dentist and having to perform dentistry on myself. So bad that it was good, Leon. I don't really accept that. I thought it was wicked, to be honest with you. Yes, so today we're going to be doing a lot of editing. I've got a couple of projects that I haven't done any editing on. So I want to show you sort of my process, see where I can help you out. So don't be afraid to ask me any questions. And try to think of some questions before we get started as well. It's all going to be in Premiere, but some of the ideas are transferable. You know, you may not execute them in the same way, but you might find something you like and try to do it in Sony Vegas or whatever it is you use. Soy Tempeh is here too. Excellent. Yes, so without further ado, let me show you what I've got here. Okay. I will show you my video folder, show you what we can work on today. I'm just opening the chat on my phone because I can't see any of you right now. Oh no, go on yeast with Reese. Don't appreciate that, Mamet. Okay, so here are some things we can work on. We've got this one, let's make Indian food. My girlfriend and I went to an Indian restaurant and the owners there showed us how to make Indian food. We have, should you feed wild animals? I haven't filmed everything for this. It's sort of vlog style that I'm trying to turn into an educational video. I was playing on my phone now. We got Vegan Island, very much the same thing, pretty much me showing off because I got to go on an island with some vegans. Why I won't wear a mask, this is in progress. I'm waiting for people... Oh, there's Herbivore there. I'm waiting for people to send in their submissions for this. And this one I filmed today, especially why you shouldn't go vegetarian. I don't know if I'm going to make a full video out of this. But I thought I could show you what I can do with this. So if any of these take your fancy, just let me know what it is you want to take a look at. Okay, I know there's a bit of a delay on here. I propose we go for why you shouldn't go vegetarian first. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you this one, Zoocosis. Zoocosis is my secret project I've been working on. Hopefully I'm going to make like a 40-minute documentary about zoos, zoocosis, and the ethics around going to the zoo and so on. So the other day we actually went to a zoo. It's supposedly the saddest zoo in the world. Certainly felt that way when we were there. We've got a gorilla who lives here. She is the only gorilla in Thailand. She was purchased like 30 years ago. She's been living alone for, I think, 20 of those years. So yeah, it's quite a depressing topic, but an exciting project nonetheless. Okay, we've got no comments in the chat, so I'm just going to choose for you. Let's go. Why you shouldn't go vegetarian. Okay. So we're going to do this in Premiere. I'm going to take it right from the start. Okay. Let's double check. Oh, you know what? It's not coming through on my phone, all this chat. I thought everyone was ignoring me. Hello, Beans. Hey, Vegan Pixie Warrior is here. Excellent. Great idea. Zoos are not covered enough. Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to learn a lot. I'm in contact with Compassion for Animals as well. I'm trying to get an interview with them. Hopefully I can interview the people who own this zoo and see where I can take it. I think there's a lot of areas I think I'm sort of inspired by sort of Cowspiracy and later on Seaspiracy and that sort of style, really. If Kip Anderson is watching this, get in touch, mate. Yeah, so we're going to go for why you shouldn't go vegetarian. I never name my projects because I'm extremely lazy, but I want to show you the proper way to do this. Okay, so I don't usually change anything at all. The first thing I would recommend when you come into Premiere is set up your space how you like it. You should have this at the top. I like to go for editing. I really want to see the chat on my phone. This is unbearable. You know what it is, I think? It's because I've got the video paused. Let me try something. Thanks for bearing with me. Yeah, okay. So, yes, the vegetarian is a good one. You don't have Premiere Pro, Vegan Pixie Warrior. Some people get it for free somehow. I'm not sure how, but you can. You use DaVinci Resolve. Yes, like I say, a lot of these tips are transferable into any editing software. They all follow the same sort of, they have the same basic structures and things. And like I say, some ideas are transferable easily. So yes, another thing I would do is have a look across here. You might have something like information and stuff like that. These are not windows I use, so because I only have this one laptop screen, I right click and I close the panel. Okay. First time I'm hearing the word zoocosis. I do tell people not to go to zoos though. I'm trying to find out whether it is possible to go to an ethical zoo. Like, I'm really erring on no way is it possible at all. But I want to look into it. I'm trying not to be biased when I research things, Free. There are ways. I heard pirates can get it for you. Yeah, so I just imported that. All I did was right-click, import, and then select and open. And there you go. If you have a lot of clips, you may want to right-click, rename, if you have a lot of stuff to work with. If you're just talking to the camera, which I think most of us do anyway, it's not that big a deal because they're numbered anyway from your camera. Talking of editing, I have a bunch to edit. All right then. See you later. Farm Sanctuary. Yeah, exactly. That's right, Herbivore. So you can rename it. I'm just going to call this part 1, part 2, just for the sake of argument. Okay. So all I'm going to do is hit the spacebar, start playing. This is my preview window. And you know what's going on right now. The audio is playing through my laptop and not my headphones. And this is a common problem. I remember being really frustrated with this a few years ago. Go to sequence. Okay, click on your timeline. Go to sequence. Eh? Sorry, guys. Edit at the bottom is preferences and then audio hardware. And then this one, default input. You can choose what you need. So I'll be using this one. Okay, there's me fiddling with my hair.
Today I'm going to talk to you about...
And it's still coming through my laptop. Usually I do, I just play through my laptop. Okay. Well, this is not good, is it? Maybe I should try that.
Why you should not...
This is not looking good, guys. This is not a good way to start my how to edit stream. Let me try this one more time. You know what I've done. You know what I've done. Default input, default output. I'm a stupid little boy. There you go. Okay.
Not go vegetarian, and if you...
Okay, there you go. You can see that I record the same line over and over and over again. I think it's really important to speak fast because a lot of people don't have a very good attention span.
Today I'm going to talk to you about why you should not go vegetarian, and if you are already vegetarian, why you need to stop. Now, I say this from experience because I was vegetarian for 14 years, starting when I was around age 11.
Okay, that sounds like I know where I am.
Today
So, I get to the beginning of where I want to be. I click I. Okay, that means in. You can see the marker changed here.
Today I'm
Click
going to
the
talk to you
space
about
bar.
why you should
Click the space bar to play.
not go vegetarian, and if you are already vegetarian, why you need to stop. Now, I say this from experience because I was vegetarian for 14 years, starting when I was around age 11. I went vegetarian because I cared about the animals. I didn't see why it was right to pay for an animal to die if I had other choices.
There we go. So all I'm doing there, I'm just dragging that onto here. Okay. So some people, they like to have a little bit of music to edit to. So we'll right-click, import. I've got a lot of music downloaded from Kevin MacLeod. MacLeod, I'm not sure. A lot of people probably know him. A lot of YouTubers know him. Incompetech.com. What I might do is just show you where I get this stuff. There's the music video I was showing you earlier. Okay, Incompetech.com. Okay. These days you have got to make an account, but it is free. And then we just want to search for some music. So I think for this one we just need something sort of in the background. So let's go to genres perhaps. And I think soundtrack is a genre. Martin says he teaches us how to edit, but actually tries to figure it out himself. I do know. I've never actually shown someone before. Moods. Oh my gosh. They do change this a lot, to be honest. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to import something I already have. I often use this one, Airport Lounge. It's just a bit of jazz. Okay. And now for this one, we only want the audio. So you have two buttons here. And if you just drag audio, it will only bring the audio in there. And that works with videos as well. You can see that's just the audio there. If you want just the video, it's just the same thing. If you want both, drag the picture. Okay. I do like watching documentaries and try to educate myself as much as possible. Reasoning yourself is also something everyone should do. Absolutely. It's... There's sort of this confirmation bias. Is that what it is? Where you search for things and you're using language to find the result you want. That's a dangerous area. So I do try to search in a very non-biased way. And you know, the thing is, like, we don't need to lie about veganism. So, Level Joy, Kevin is my personal lord and savior. May his music echo through all the corners of the internet. I hear his music in every single video. Okay, so
Today I'm going to talk to you about why you should not go.
that's not very watchable, is it? So we need to turn down the volume of the music. So we're going to right click and hit audio gain. Go to set. No, go to adjust. We'll go for adjust today. And you're going to type in like -10, -20, and just try to find a level that works for you. I know Kevin's music is very loud, so I'm going to go for a -20 there.
Go vegetarian, and if you are already vegetarian, why you need
And you can see that's still very, very loud. So we're going to -10 to get it down to -30.
to stop. Now I say this from experience because I was vegetarian.
Okay, it's pretty good, but I'm going to lower it a little bit more because all I want it to do is fill in the gaps where I'm not talking. I'm just having a little breath. I need to fill in that gap to keep the flow going. So you don't want people to be listening to the music, do you? You want people to listen to you. So the music should almost be unheard.
Today I'm going to talk to you about why you should not go vegetarian, and if
That's a lot better. Okay.
are already vegetarian, why you need to stop. Now I say this from
Okay, let's find the second part. So you can see here, I'm going to change it. I'm going to click I again. So I'm starting in a new in position. Okay. I never show people this stuff. It feels awkward.
So I spent many years eating fruit and veg and nuts and seeds and dairy, eggs, honey, and I was pretty content with my life. You know, I was living in line with my morals. I didn't have to feel guilty about what I was eating. Ultimately, I was making a little sacrifice for something I believed in more. I was doing something selfless for the animals.
Okay, that's good. So we'll pull that in. Okay.
So I spent many years.
So between these two clips, we have a bit of silence.
If I had other choices. So I spent many.
That's okay in conversation. It's not so good in a YouTube video. People cannot wait those seconds and they will click off. So let's find where the sound finishes. You can see here you have the waveform. And we're going to press C, and that brings up this razor for cutting. And it cuts your clip. Now you see one problem here is it's also cut the video. Okay, so Control Z will undo that. What we need to do is unlink the visual and the audio. So we right click, unlink. Okay, and now you can click C, and you can cut there. Okay. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you don't. Okay.
So
if you just want to do both, if you're not in the middle of a clip, you can just do this. Okay. And now we have this gap. We could just drag everything over. I don't want to do that. I'm going to right click, ripple, delete. That's going to work for you in 90% of circumstances. So let's listen to that.
other choices. So I spent many years eating
Okay, I think that's pretty good.
an animal to die if I had other choices. So I spent many years eating
Okay, that's pretty good for audio, but the visual is a little bit jarring.
I had other choices. So I spent
Okay, so we need to change something a little bit so that it still feels like it flows and it doesn't feel like a cut. So this is how you mask a cut. We're going to click there. We're going to go to Effect Controls up here, and you can see you've got motion, and there is scale. So all we're going to do is move in a little bit. So I've gone to 119 there.
I had other choices. So I spent many years eating fruit and
That's pretty good, right? And if you want to, you can move the position a little bit.
if I had other choices. So I spent many years
Sometimes what I like to do is take my finger and put it on my eye on the screen, and then I go into the next clip, the first frame, and I try to match the eye's position, and that's going to make it feel a little bit more natural too.
I had other choices. So I spent many years
That's pretty good. I think the audio is just a little bit off. It's not quite connecting. So here's what we need to do. We're going to... maybe I should show you. Okay, there's two ways to do this. So, you can see these two are not connected, but these two are connected, okay? This can cause problems. We might want to right click. I'll show you that again. Right click, apply default transitions, okay? And that's a fade on both the audio and the visual. Of course, we don't want that, so we've got two choices. We can just delete that part, and that gives us just an audio fade. Or we can use this part that we have unlinked, okay? And we'll right click that and apply default positions there, and it's only on the audio.
I had other choices. So I spent many years.
That sounds a bit more natural now, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, just having a little chat in the chat, I see. If you have any questions, just let me know. It doesn't have to be about editing. Editing is quite a laborious process sometimes, so it's nice to have just a little bit of a chat about veganism or a bit of a Q&A or anything. That's totally fine too. So, let's take a look.
To pay for an animal to die if I had other choices. So I spent many years eating fruit and veg and nuts and seeds and dairy, eggs, honey, and I was
Okay.
selfless for the animals. But going back,
Okay, so now we want to go back. You can see we're quite zoomed in here. That's going to make it a bit difficult. So you got here, you can move in. All I'm doing is selecting the circle at either end there and just pull that in a little bit. And now we can move a bit nicer. Another way I like to do things is to use the scroll on my mouse. I would never recommend editing with a trackpad if that's something you do.
but going back,
Okay, so I've just gone over the point where I want it to mark, right? So I'm just going to scroll up a little bit, and that's each little scroll is a frame. There you go, and I can see exactly where I'm about to talk. So I'll just click I there.
but going vegetarian wasn't really enough.
Oh, I thought I was. I just slapped my lips instead.
But going vegetarian wasn't really enough. I felt like I had to convince my friends to go vegetarian too, to stop them from killing animals.
Okay.
It didn't really work, but I started to hear about this word veganism. I started to learn what they are. They don't eat eggs or honey or milk. And I thought, actually, that's kind of extreme, because no animal's dying for these products. So I continued being vegetarian for many years after that.
Okay. And I think I finished there. So click O, and I'll pull that in.
I was
And you
doing
can
something
see-
selfless for the animals. But going
Again, we have that little gap. So I'll just jump back in with my razor tool. I'll just clean that up. Highlight, delete, ripple delete. We're going to unlink one of these. Excuse me. We're just going to put a little transition on there.
for the animal. But going vegetarian.
That sounded really bad. What have I done? Okay, you can see I've butchered it a little bit now. So I'm just going to pull that across a little bit. Pull that back so we can start the video sooner.
But going the animal. But going
Okay, I see the problem here is this clip.
animal. But going vegetarian.
Okay.
But going vegetarian.
Okay, that's getting a little bit better, isn't it? Okay.
Animals. But going vegetarian wasn't really enough.
Okay, so you can see where this is going. We're just going to do that for the entire video. We're going to cut out all the ums and ahs and pauses and bits where I mess up my line and do it again. I do recommend trying to get them out as quick as possible. And, you know, you can always delete the lines that you mess up. Like some of my videos, I'll say the same line 10 times until I get one that I like. Okay, is Kevin vegan? I don't know. We should email him. Level Joy, what motivated you to go vegetarian? What made you go vegan? Might be able to pinpoint with a significant oh my moments. So actually, when I was 9 years old, I went pescatarian. I don't actually remember what happened to get to this point, but my mum tells me I saw some chickens hung up, and I didn't like what I saw, and I guess I made the connection with meat and animals. For some reason, I hung on to fish. I think I just liked the taste of fish mostly, and I sort of lied to myself and told myself, you know, fish don't have feelings, and Jesus ate fish, because I was a little, I guess I believed in Jesus and God and stuff back then. And then when I was about 11 or 12, I met a girl who was vegetarian. I asked her, do you eat fish? She said no, and it got me thinking. I was like, you know what, I probably shouldn't eat fish. And then I went vegan when I was 16. for 1 year. Okay. And I gave up then when I was 17, which is really bad to say. I think the reason I went vegan the first time was because I just knew we were exploiting animals, but I didn't really know we were killing them. So I just thought like it was kind of wrong anyway. So yeah, I didn't know anyone else who was vegan, and I knew like 2 vegetarians in my life. And I guess I gave up in the end just because I was going out with my friends and drinking, and there was sort of the convenience factor. And I guess that was it, the convenience factor at that time in 2010, 2011. It was very different to how it is now. Yeah, and then early 2020, maybe late 2019, I was on like Vegan Circle Jerk and places like that, and they were absolutely ripping into vegetarians, and I was like, you know what, they're right. And then I decided I had to be vegan, pretty much. Okay, so yes, this is just basic editing, what I've shown you so far. We're going to do something a bit more complicated now. We're going to look at some effects. So you can see I'm in front of this green screen. So what I'm going to do is go to Effects panel, which is next to your clips, okay? Click on Effects. You're going to type in Ultra, okay? Ultra key. There are many different keys. Ultra key is the one we're going to use. Okay. Nothing's happened. Nothing happens when you put on an effect in Premiere because you need to make the settings most of the time. Scroll down, you can see the Ultra key panel here and your key color. So we'll change the key color to this green. And you can see we've got a lot of white behind me, which we need to clean up. Ekaterina, nice to see you. Oh, Leon was vegetarian for 25 years too? Great. Leon has a question. How do you deal with hearing your own voice back? I remember when I was a teenager. I've been making videos for more than half of my life now. I think I started making videos when I was about 10, maybe even younger. So I got used to it. I didn't like it at first, but you do just get used to it. And when you're talking to the camera, you have to pretend you're just talking to a friend. Don't think about who's going to see it. And you will get used to it. Okay, so to take away these sort of white parts behind me, I need to play a little bit with matte generation. The pedestal often fixes things. Okay, and now we have a plain background. Other things you might want to play with, the tolerance. You can see that's changing things there. Sometimes the shadow needs to be pulled down a bit, but you can see that does affect me on the outside too. So I don't tend to play with that. And then another thing you can do if you really need it, go into matte cleanup and you can choke. Okay. And choke means just be more strict, take off the feathering, I guess, or the opposite of feathering. But the thing is, when I turn up my choke, it does look a little bit...
Today I'm going to talk to you about why...
Hang on. It does look a little bit unnatural there. So we'll take the choke back off. Midpoint. Okay, it's not helping today, but sometimes it does help. The other thing we can do is spit. No, I don't usually use that. Color correction, I think, is the one I use. Sometimes the hue. Which one do I use? Oh, I guess I don't use these. Yeah, but you know what? Most of the time, it's your pedestal that you just want to turn that up. And that looks pretty good. What I always struggle with is what to put behind me. Race Lever, I'm on Premiere. Oh, Leon was eating animals for 25 years. Disgusting. Other things you might want to play with. Yeah, it sounds like a different topic, doesn't it? Okay. Even if you don't have a green screen, you can still play with green screen because there's plenty of green screen videos. Oh, look, it's me. So, for example, sometimes I play with snow and rain and things like that. Actually, you know what? I already have a rain clip, but I want to show you how I download clips as well. Why would I just type in rain? Now, do be careful when you're using clips. Sometimes they'll say it's free, sometimes they'll say you need to pay. You should try to be respectful of that. If you want to use a clip like just something horrible here, we got a farrow crate here. Okay, some of these are going to be from farmers, like this one. It is fine to use those. That would be classed as what do you call that? Oh, I wish Creative Commons, right? You're perfectly allowed to use things for education, but things like rain, just try to respect people, you know. So what we got here? Welcome to my channel. Blah blah blah. Okay, see, they haven't even said if we can use it. But just for the sake of argument, let's use this one. Now here's how I download videos. Open up VLC. Okay, you do need VLC for this. All you're going to do is drag the video you want into VLC. Okay. Go to Tools. Ah, there it is. Codec information. Copy this link at the bottom. Okay. Pop that into your browser. And there you go. There are 3 dots here. You can download that. This is the safest way to download videos. There are websites that will do it for you, but I got a lot of viruses in the past from using these websites, even the ones that were supposedly safe. So now I just use the VLC method. It works most of the time. The odd video won't, unfortunately. YouTube doesn't care about what you're allowed to use or say anymore. If they don't like it, they remove it. Yeah, it's not so much about what YouTube likes, although that is important, of course. It's just about being respectful, in my opinion. Here's something else I do when I do take a video. I'll copy everything into a notepad. Okay. So I've got the name of the video, the person who uploaded it, and the link to it, then the shortened link, and I might put something like footage, and I'll put that underneath my video. I just think it's a bit respectful, and especially if you're making vegan videos and showing things that happen in farms, it can be really, really useful if your video is from a farmer themselves. It just adds some value, I suppose. People aren't going to call it vegan propaganda if your sources are literally the farmers themselves. So if you do source your stuff, people are more likely to believe you. Anyway, we've got some rain now. So remember what we did, right click, import, and go and find it. I didn't name it, I just called it video playback. Okay, look, I can pull this straight in. It's going to give me the sound and the video. But look, the sound wants to go on top of the other sound. All you have to do, pull it up again. Okay, and if you want to make it look cleaner, you can pull this back down then. We don't actually need the sound for this one. Just wanted to show you. Okay. Okay, so you can see this is smaller now. Smaller than what I'm editing in. I'm editing in 1080p. So we'll right click and we'll set to frame size. Okay, if you have an odd size thing, sometimes you'll have black bars on the sides or top and bottom. You can just do that in scale. Okay. Now, we're going to use exactly the same methods that we used on me to take away the green from here. And we can see the rain on top of me. Maybe it's a little bit difficult on the black background, but you get the point. The problem is it's on me, but I actually want it behind me. So all I need to do is pull my clip up. Okay. Now my clip is on the top layer. You can imagine it like 3 stacks of paper. Okay, whatever's on the top is what you're going to see. Okay. Now I don't actually want rain. All I'm going to do is this, because I want to keep this space free for whatever I want to put in the background. I don't think farmers would think you're using the videos for vegan message is respectful. No, not to the farmers, but I don't care. To be perfectly honest. Okay. What did I want to show you? Okay. So you can see we've taken away the green screen there, but we haven't taken it away here or here. We don't want to go through everything again, so all we're going to do is make sure we're in effects controls up here. Scroll down. There's your Ultra key panel, okay? Control C. Click on the clip you want. Control V, okay? And I'm just going to do that for every clip I use. Okay. So, yes, like I say, I do always struggle with what to put behind, but just for the sake of argument, we're going to use the background that we're using for this video. Just make sure you can see everything, okay? Okay, and you can see that's a weird size, actually. So we're just going to use the... Make sure it's selected. And we're just going to use the scale option there. Okay. What I don't like about this is everything is in focus. I feel like I should be in focus and what's behind me shouldn't be. So make sure background is highlighted. Effects. This time we're going to go for a blur. Okay. And I usually go for a Gaussian blur. I actually don't know how to pronounce that one. And again, when you put on the effect, nothing happens. You need to do it yourself. So it's in here. Turn up the blurriness, usually about 10 or 15 is good for me. And one thing you may notice is the outsides here, it has been feathered. So you might want to repeat your edge pixels. Okay, it's not making much difference on this one, but sometimes it makes a big difference. There you go.
About why you should not go vegetarian, and if you are already vegetarian, why you need to stop. Now, I say this from experience.
Okay.
If I had other choices. So I spent many years eating fruit.
Ah, so here's something you might find a bit of a problem.
If I had other choices.
So I've gotten bigger, but the background has stayed the same. So there are a few things we can do here. Just for an example, I'm just going to take this. Okay. We're going to put the Ultra key back on that clip. And I'm going to copy and paste this background underneath. Okay. Just for the sake of argument, I want this part to be bigger than this part. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit difficult. So all I need to do here is cut the background. Okay, just for the sake of showing you, I'm just going to make that the same. What we need to do now is nest these, okay, so they act like they're one layer. So right click, nest that. You can name it if you want to. I'll just name it example. Okay, now whatever you do to this is going to happen to both. And if you want to change one thing, you can double click and go inside. So, for example, I want to scale that up. Excellent example. Okay, so you can see how that's done. Why don't you let us choose? Yeah, actually, good idea, Race. If you choose... Okay, I like half of your idea, Race. You're saying you should choose what to put behind me, and then whatever happens, I'll post it to my channel. I will let you choose what to put behind me if you don't like this. That's fine. You can suggest something, as long as it's appropriate. Leon says, how long does it take to edit a video? This kind of video where I'm just talking to the camera, that could be... If I wanted to save a lot of time and be a little bit lazy, I could do that in about maybe 2 hours. If I wanted to make it good, I wanted to show things, I wanted to show what I'm talking about, it could take me a lot longer. I'll just show you for an example. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. For an example, something like Let's Talk About, they take me a very, very long time. And the reason for this isn't necessarily the editing, it's finding all the footage I need. So I can spend upwards of 10 hours on one of these. Something like this is the UK banning the right to protest. That was a similar problem, but because I'm talking to the camera a lot, that takes up a lot of the footage time. So sourcing these different videos is not a big problem. In terms of heavy editing, like this one, Do You Eat Babies? There's a video quiz.
Question 1.
This took an extremely long time. So you can see all the different layers I've got going on. I've got this image in the background. I created every single item here. I had to take it at a cut the background out of it, put the shadow on it, and so on. You can see here I've got these hands moving. I've created this timer, and you know, this is actually a video of water being poured into a glass, turned sideways, and it has a red tint. I've got flies in the background. That's a green screen. And then everything you're seeing here is an image. Okay, it's all an image I've created. So maybe I can show you how to do this kind of thing. This video, it could take like 15 hours. It could take all day for 2 days. And it could take a little bit longer. I wish I spent a little bit longer on this. Actually, I think it could have been even better. But, yeah. Just one more aspect of this. We'll just wait for this timer. Oh, you can see I've got this strobe light on as well, because I wanted to show broken lights. You know, I do a lot of things with this. Yeah, and this sort of moving across the picture as well. I had to create a 4K picture for this. Okay, it's not a half idea, all or nothing. Martin put a picture of oats. I think that's fair. I do love a bit of oat. I'm going to search oat background. Why not? Ooh. That's pretty good. Obviously, when you're sourcing pictures, you need to look down here and see how big they are. Okay. So maybe I'll type in tool size large. It's up to you if you want to be a good boy and girl. Go to Creative Commons there. For these purposes, I won't. It seems this is one of the biggest ones we've got, so we'll just use that. If something is blurry when you size it up for your video, I really recommend you don't use it at all and just change your idea. Okay. Oh, it's not too bad, is it? Okay, remember we'll stick a Gaussian blur on there. Stick 15 maybe. That's a lot. Maybe just... Okay, am I connected again? Yes. I clicked the snooze button on my laptop. Okay, I can see I'm back now. Am I back? Yes. Okay. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, all I wanted to do was put a 10 on that. And then one thing I sometimes do is put a bit of tint on there. Now, this is one effect that will take place straight away. Got 100% tint on there. I usually use 10. Just takes a bit of color off it. So that you can pop. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to show you perhaps some kind of a timer. Or how we move images like this. Okay, I'll see what I've got to work with already in my computer. Maybe assets in there. Okay, nothing particularly amazing at the moment. Maybe something in here. Okay, I've got this. It says ditch dairy in Chinese. I'm adapting one of my old videos to be in Chinese. But let's say I don't want it to just pop up. I want it to sort of move in. I want... I'll show you what I want. We'll go to effects. We'll hit crop. Okay. Let's put those oats back. We'll crop that. Effects. Okay, for the crop, you should really be selecting crop so you can see what's highlighted is the entire window. Because sometimes you've got invisible space. Put it wherever you want it. Okay, so you can see for the right hand part, I've put it right up against it. Okay, now we're going to play with keyframes. So the right one is the one I want to use the most. So just hit the clock icon here. This creates a keyframe. But that's where I want it to end. So grab this keyframe and pull it away. And now you're free to move your crop up. And that's created another keyframe for you. Very, very, very slowly. Let's pull it there. And you can see this. The camera is still frozen though. Is it still frozen now? Thanks for telling me. There we go. Okay. So we can do that kind of thing. Perhaps you don't want to do that. If you want to delete a crop, you just highlight it, click delete. Maybe we just want to move it in, right? So again, it's the same thing. Just create a keyframe, move that to the end position, and we can use this one if we want to move it horizontally, or this one for vertically. Just for fun, let's make it come in like that. Okay, I want to make that shorter. That's pretty cool, right? If you want to, you can throw a rotation in there too. And we can go crazy with it. Now look at that. Now that is cool. Wow. Just while we're playing around, it's an opportunity to show you. This is really finicky, actually. An opportunity to show you another trick. You can see that these are not ending at the same time. So we're going to grab the one you want to move, hold the shift button. That turns on a sort of magnet, and it will pull it across and create a line. It can see where the other one is. Okay, so they should end at the same time. But it's also very abrupt. So we're going to right click the final keyframe, temporal interpolation. Okay, and we're going to ease in. Okay, I'm going to do that on both. And you can see it's slowed down to get there. That feels a lot more natural. Something else you might see with my videos is that things move a lot. So type in hand, and you'll see these handheld cameras. You may not already have this. You may have to download a preset. I think these were, yeah, these ones are from Deadpool, the movie, actually. Okay, maybe I'll use a somewhat steady on there. And you can see it's moving around a little bit. It's not too jarring. Okay, and I'll do that if I want to show an image and I don't want it to look too boring. I want people to stay interested. I might throw one of those on. Okay, I wonder what else I can show you. Okay. So I'm talking about fruit, veg, nuts, seeds. So maybe I want to put myself here, like a bit of a newscaster, and I'll get my pictures. So maybe I really, really love this picture. So I'm going to use that. Fruit, veg. Yep. Nuts. Probably when you download pictures, you're going to... Oh, see, that one isn't even an image. Just be careful of that. You probably want to find ones you actually like. We'll have that, shall we? Okay. So here's how I often show pictures. We'll import those. What have we got first? Okay, fruit. So where's the fruit? There's the fruit. Okay. Okay, so fruit is here. That's where it starts. Remember, I'm using this to go by each frame. Okay, each little scroll is one frame. Okay, we want it to stop there. Okay, we need to make that larger. And I might want to put it behind me as well, because I think it's not as important as me, because I'm extremely important. Okay, but it's just going to show up. I don't like that. It just pops up like that, you know, there's no warning. It feels a little bit abrupt. We want to keep with the flow. So here's it's a really, really cool trick. I use Audacity. It's just free audio recording software. Okay, all I'm going to do is this. Lick my lips. And okay, so you just want to record that. Sounds perfect. Okay. You want to delete the blank space. Okay. And we're going to export that as... You know what, I'm going to put it in there because I always need a pop. I don't want to call it untitled. I'm going to rename that as pop. Okay. So let's chuck a pop in here. Totally messed up, guys. So sorry. I'm going to have to do another pop. Oh, that was a good one. The last one. That was really good. Perfect. So good. Oh my gosh. Okay. We'll use this pop. And you can see actually, because it was the same file location and the same name, it's actually replaced the file inside Premiere. So let's pretend I did that on purpose to show you that. Okay. So we'll just find where the image starts. Remember, use this little circle to zoom in and pull down the audio. Okay, you can see the little waveform there. So we want to match that waveform with the start of the image. Okay, that felt a little bit late, didn't it? One of the hardest things to do is work out whether your visual or your audio is coming first. See, I feel like it's the same time, but you know what? We're going to pull it a little bit later. I feel like that's more natural. Okay. Herbivore is off. Thank you for stopping by. Let's get some veg on here. Remember, if you really want to see how to do something, just ask me. I have been doing this for a very long time. I'm by no means the best, but I will be able to show you some way of doing it that you can probably improve on. Oh, okay. Okay, and then we want nuts. And we want seeds. I think it's this one I used. Okay, so same again. We just want to move everything into the same location. If everything's the same size, you can copy and paste the motion. Okay, sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. This time it did not. That's all right. Yeah, see, that's pretty good. And we can put that pop everywhere. So remember, you can hold shift and your mouse is almost attracted to each cut. Okay, so hold that. Control V. Okay, you can see here it's tried to paste it right in the middle of me talking. And that's because we have these highlighted, so we want to highlight just A3, okay, because that's where we want it to go, which means audio 3. Okay, same on this one, same on this one. How does that look? Okay, pretty good. I think it's a bit loud, so we're going to reduce the audio gain on there to maybe -15. It's not that important of a sound. That's a lot better. Okay, one more thing I want to do. I still don't think it looks great, so what I'm going to do is put a shadow on there. Now, the kind of shadow that works for this kind of video is a radial shadow. So just type in shadow, and you'll find the radial shadow. It looks awful when you start, but all you want to do is change the light source. If you can't see properly, you can switch off other things using the eye. Okay, so you can be blind there. We'll change the light source. Try to get it the same all the way around. Okay, I think that's about right. And reduce the distance and turn up the softness. Okay, so you can see it's just popping a little bit more. Maybe we want to give it a little bit more distance. Okay, try not to be too crazy like this. You just want to be subtle with these things. Okay, and we'll turn this back on. So you can see this looks better than this. Okay, we're just going to copy and paste that radial shadow onto all of these pictures. So let's see. Okay, so when we're playing back, you can see it's bad quality, and that's because I'm letting it play back at 1/4 of the quality. And that just means it can go a bit faster. It depends on your computer. Some computers can hack full. Mine can if I'm not doing too much. This is quite a simple edit, so we're not too worried about that. Okay. Another thing I've started doing, I don't want it to just disappear. I think that's a little bit jarring too. So what I'll do is copy and paste the pop again, but this time I'm going to reverse it. Okay, so right click, go to speed and duration, tick reverse speed. Okay. Oh, my bad. Okay, so this almost can't even hear it, but if I mute everything else, you should be able to. Okay. It's just a reverse pop. Leon, say you want copyrighted music as your intro. Do you ask the one who made the song music? That is the best thing you can do. The problem is that they're probably not going to get back to you if you're not a big person, you know. The best thing I would do is look for music that isn't copyrighted. Honestly, you can get away with it a lot of the time, and I think there might be like a certain amount of seconds threshold. But let me show you what happens when you upload a video these days. Okay, so you don't have to run any risks anymore. So say I want to upload this. Okay, it's just uploading very quickly. It's a very short video. Okay, it's just going to start processing. It should only take a second. I'm talking about this checks portion here. Once the video was processed, oh, it's almost done. Once it's processed, YouTube would automatically check your video for copyright issues. So if you want to use a little bit of a copyrighted song, try to keep it short. Try to keep it like 5 seconds, maybe even less. And just run it through this check. Yeah, so I got no issues on this. And actually, this video... Oh, it's at the end there as well, is it? This video actually uses a lot. For example, this show... It's very, very small for you, I guess. This show here is from CBBS, which is Children's BBC. Such a bad example. Oh, there you go. This is my next video. It's a little bit of a teaser for you. Okay, I'm going to delete what I just uploaded. I don't want that. Okay. Luke is here. It's good to see you, Luke. Okay. So what could I show you next? Okay, well, unmute these. Okay, now here's the thing, when you're just talking to the camera and not showing anything, I think people can get turned off unless they know you. So the only people who are going to be watching your video at this point, even, we're just like 40 seconds in, if we're just showing me talking, everyone's going to switch off. The only people who are going to stay are sort of your long-term subscribers and your friends. So we don't want that. So always, always, always get cutaway footage to show what you're talking about. It's always better to show than to tell. Okay. So for example, so I'm talking about when I was a teenager, right? So maybe I want to show a picture of me as a teenager. Let's see. Probably 2010. Would that be a good time? Yeah, maybe I want this picture from 2010. Okay. So we can either do what we did with the vegetables, which keeps things a little bit more interesting, or we can scale that up. Okay. And we can use that instead. Now what I might do is cut underneath and delete that so I'm not tempted to go back and just show that. This isn't great. Okay. All we're doing there is showing a little picture, and somehow I managed to delete the audio as well. Remember to unlink your visual and audio. Okay. Very cool picture, I must say. So remember to check you've got the right level selected. So we're going to go to V2. Because I want to copy this and paste it directly underneath. Leon is impressed by this picture of me. I must have been around 16 at this time. Okay, the layer underneath. When I've got a picture like this, or maybe I'm trying to show a vertical video, this is what I do. So make the picture underneath big, go to your effects. We're going to use that Gaussian blur again. I've got to use it in pretty much every video I make, I think. We'll stick on a Gaussian blur of maybe 10 for this one. And we'll stick on a little tint. Okay, and the tint is also going to be 10, I think. Oh, I might go for a 15. Yeah. Remember to repeat your edge pixels. Okay. And the last thing I might do is put another radial shadow on here. Remember, we can just steal one we've already made. So I'll just copy it from there and throw that on the top layer. Okay, remember which layer you're on. Now that's looking a lot better. It's not good enough, in my opinion. So there's two things I might do. I might go for a handheld footage on the top layer. And that's moving it around a little bit. It's also made it a lot smaller. So if that is happening to you, right click, just nest it. Okay. And now it's treating this as one layer, even though it's already one layer. I know. So we'll stick the handheld on there. So I might do that if I want to be a little bit, if I want to give off a little bit of a fun vibe. If I want to give off a professional vibe, it's a little bit different. What's going on in the chat? I want to know what it says under I love. Yeah, dog meat. I'll leave it to your imagination. It's nothing interesting, honestly. Here's something else I might do. I might make the background a little bit bigger to begin. And scale that. Okay. Remember to use keyframes. I'm going to pull that to the end, go to the beginning, and I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Okay, so over the course, it's getting a little bit bigger. I think it's getting too big. So actually I'm going to pull that back down a bit. Check my numbers, 346. Maybe I just want it to go for 354. Okay, so it's all about being subtle. Being subtle is much better than being full on. I love licking the British insult. Is there a name for the effect when the sides of an image are blurred like that? I see a lot in the news. Well, the effect I'm using to make it blurry is a Gaussian blur. And the only reason we do that is because we want it to fill this this ratio. You know, we want it to fill a regular TV or computer screen. Yeah, so it's just called a Gaussian blur, or just a blur. Honestly, it's nothing special. We've got 2 layers, so we've got one picture on top of the other picture. Hey, Grumpy Vegan Grandad is in the chat. Excellent. Grumpy Vegan Grandad, do you want to learn how to edit, mate? Let me know what you're struggling with and I'll sort you out, lad. Okay, so we've got the bottom layer zooming in oh so slowly, and we want to go for the same effect on the top layer in reverse. So I want it to start like this, and maybe I want it to end at... What have I done? And I want it to end at 90. Oh, you know what? Let's end it at like 97. Remember to right-click, ease in. Okay, and the first one, ease out. Out is first. Okay, so it goes out into the out into the change and back into reality. Okay, that's maybe how you want to think of it. I don't. So ease in. Okay, we'll have a look at that. See, so that's really subtle, but it's still flowing. Something's still happening. It feels, for me, it feels a little bit nicer. It's not so rigid. It flows. Okay, what else can I show you with this one? Now, sometimes you want to read from your laptop. It's just too much to say in one go, and that is when I will use a cutaway. A lot. Whenever you see cutaways in my videos, usually that's the reason why. Okay. Is there anything in particular you guys want to see? I'll just have a think what else I can show you with this one. Okay. Obviously, for every video, I use an end screen. My end screen consists of a background and a foreground. Okay. So the background is always the same. Is that it? There you go. Background's always the same. It's just this piece of paper. Now a YouTube end screen is 20 seconds long. Okay. So let's delete that for a moment. So double click on your picture. Is this a nerd stream? Yes. Okay, you can see it's 5 seconds long. That's what this number means. We need to get that up to 20. So just play around until you find 20. Just clicking out. Okay. It's going to be that big line there. Remember to use this to skip forward or backwards one screen. Looks great. Interesting to see the behind the scenes and the logic behind it all. Easy to take it for granted as a viewer. It is. So much goes into it. But the fact that you don't see it all is a bit of a compliment to the editor. It means they've done it quite seamlessly. Did I import the end screen? Yes. Okay. So you can see that is actually just a PNG. Okay, you can make that in Photoshop. I use Fireworks to make mine. Okay, if you're using music, which I do recommend, even if it's very quiet, remember to fade it out. So all I did there was right click, apply default transitions, and you can actually pull your transitions across. You see, that's quite nice. When am I coming to Manchester? It's looking like my visa in Thailand is going to run until the end of June. Obviously, when I go back to the UK, I'll have to see my family for a couple of weeks. I say I have to, I want to. See my family for a few weeks, and then I'll come up and try to find somewhere to rent. So, say like towards the end of July, probably. Okay, so sometimes I will use... If I show you an example. For example, in this one. Okay, you can see I'm using these pops. Ah, okay. There you go. So I've created a little transition here. Okay. All that is a wipe. If you go to your effects, just click X there. Go to your effects and look for video transitions. We're going to go for a... Oh, it might have been a slide, actually, I'll be honest. And that is a push. Okay. So, just for example, I want to go from... Maybe I want to go from this to... That is a very bad example. Let me just find something. Oh, we'll get something interesting from Zoocosis. Let's find something horrifying for you to see. Okay. So I want to go from this to this. Okay. Now, remember, we have two files on top of each other. It's two pieces of paper, but we want them to act like one. So we want to right-click and we want to nest those. Again, just call it whatever you want. Just call mine poo. A lot of my files end up being poo. I'm just still a kid, really. If you want to use a transition, be very selective with what you choose. A lot of transitions are going to bring the quality of your video down, depending on what you use. If you use like a fancy star one or something, that's going to bring it down. You want to keep it simple. A simple cut or a fade, and occasionally something like a push like this will be okay. Oh, look what we've done there. We've got a little gap. Close the gap, right click, ripple delete. Okay, we'll pull that back on. What? Vegan teacher is genuine? Wow. I saw they're on with Vegan Booty, right? I didn't know they were actually going to go topless for the stream. That's amazing. Okay, fair enough. Welcome back. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Okay, it's not great. It's so slow. So again, with effects like this, we can pull them in. Too fast, okay. That could be just right, but it's still not flowing enough. So we need to use a sound effect, okay. You can use sound effects, try to keep them subtle, unless you're trying to be funny or over the top for any other reason. So I don't know why this isn't permanently on my computer, because I use this for like every video. Okay, it's this one here. So we need VLC, and we'll pull whoosh into VLC. Tools, codec, double click, Control A, Control C. Okay, and we'll throw that back in there. Remember to source your stuff. Okay, this is just for an example, because I'm not actually going to use this for my video, but... Okay. Title, uploader, link. Okay, and just save that for later. Okay, let's download a whoosh. Okay, I know exactly the whoosh I want. Okay, it's the next one. This one. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay, so here, I'm trying to get the audio, right? So looking at the video isn't the best thing. So actually I can click here on this little waveform, and it's just going to show me the audio. And I can pull it in, zoom in, and I'll just get to just before it, hit I, and just after it, click O, in, out. And then just drag it into place. So I'm going to just stick it over the top there. Good, but very, very loud. So audio gain minus, I say minus 15 for that one. A little bit nicer. And then the audio here, I might just want to do something like that, perhaps. Okay, so that is how I edit a video like this, where I am just talking to the camera. I'm not going to save anything we did just now. But I will show you... Ooh, okay. Is this going all right for everyone? I'm just getting a notification that it's not streaming too well at the moment. Okay, what am I going to do? Let's go to a different style of video. Show you what I can do. So maybe zoocosis. Okay. So this is my trip to the zoo, which isn't as fun as it used to sound. Yes, you can drag YouTube videos into VLC. It's the safest way to download a YouTube video. You've got no risk of viruses from dodgy websites and things, you know. Okay, so here's what I've been working on earlier. I haven't done much at all. You can see here I've stuck an aspect ratio bar on the top. And I've also moved it a little bit. I'll just show you. Okay, here's a good example. I've stuck this over the top to make it seem more like a movie. Okay, thanks for the feedback, Luke. And all I did was Google aspect ratio bar, and I just downloaded that. Okay. One little tip, if you are filming and you want something to look like it's on TV. If you want to make it like a TV show, you're looking at 60 frames per second. If you want it to look like a movie, you're looking at 24 frames per second. Okay, for YouTube, for online, we usually go for 60. But if you want to make something like this, I'm trying to make it sort of, hopefully feature length eventually. It's better in 24, although I did film this in 60. Okay, so let's just see what I've got. I'll turn it down. There is some language. If there's any kids here, you know, just close your ears. Okay, so a bit of a depressing subject matter, but I can show you some editing while I'm working on at the moment. You can see throughout what I showed you, I was showing you different clips on top of audio. Okay, when you are editing, you don't need to keep your visual and audio connected the entire time, but when you do show them together, they obviously need to link. They need to be connected. So obviously I'm outside talking that entire time, but I'm not showing you anything new, okay? But I am talking about the inside of the mall. I'm saying it's a decrepit old mall. So why don't I just show you the inside of the mall, you know? Okay, Martin asks, do you think the extinction of species is a bad thing, even if they could only survive in farms or zoos? Yes. For example, I don't think that pigs and cows and chickens should exist. But it's a little bit different with them because they are created by man. They've been selectively bred. They should not exist. And that doesn't mean I want to kill them. I just mean, like, don't breed them. You know? For a zoo animal, a good example is the panda. The panda basically is begging to be extinct. They serve no use in terms of ecology. I think that's the right word. This isn't my strong area, so I'm just giving like base level facts and opinions here. And I think on the individual level, in the animal's eyes, they probably don't really mind if their species goes extinct. You know, if the only way to keep a species going is by putting them in horrible places, I don't think we should keep them going, you know. But on the other hand, if we are the species that have decimated their natural environment, it's sort of our duty to put that back. So the answer here is like rewilding and things like that, and getting the animals put back in there. It's one for the boffins, how to do that, because I know you can't just release a zoo animal into the wild. This is actually what I'm looking at with this little documentary I'm trying to make. I haven't done much on that side of things just yet. I've been looking more at the psychology of the animals in zoos and zoochosis. So I've been looking for evidence of animals going crazy inside the zoo. Interesting question. I'll definitely be covering that in this little documentary I'm making. Did you pay for the ticket? Yes, and I tried everything not to. I've been messaging around a lot since November to try to get in for free or at a reduced rate, and I haven't been able to do that. So in the end, I decided I had to weigh up whether it was worth it in terms of would my documentary help keep people from going to the zoo. So the tickets were £5. I bought two, so £10, and that's what I contributed to the zoo. It's a very murky area, and I didn't really feel good about giving them the money, but I figured that overall I would be making a positive difference by going in and by filming. Thank you. Level Joy says, let the panda go extinct. Yeah, anyway, sorry, as I was saying, I'm talking, but I'm just showing you what I'm talking about, and it also helps get the story going faster. Now, you can see here, the audio jumps a little bit. It doesn't sound like it flows. Okay? But here, it kind of does, you know? And that's just because I've put this little transition on here. So when two clips meet, make sure these are unlinked. Remember how to do that. Just right-click, unlink. Just come to the end here where the clips meet, right-click, default, transitions, okay? Everybody does this, including, you know, top film editors who make, like, the Marvel movies. This is just standard practice. And you can pull that in as much as you want. Keep playing with that. Okay. Until you're happy with it. One thing you might need to do is give subtitles, especially if you're speaking a different language. Or maybe it's too windy as well. That was always an issue for me. Okay, so there you go. I say Sawadee Kap Songkun Kap, which means hello, two people, please. Okay, now I'm going to blow some minds right now because I don't use Photoshop. I can't get along with it. And the only reason is because I learned on Fireworks in school when we were trying to make websites. So I've been using Fireworks forever now. But it's the same sort of concept. So all I'm going to do is write my message there. I might just stick it on a yellow canvas for now just so we can see it. I think it's a rather big. Okay. So we might want to put that down to 80 or something. Now, you need to think about where people are going to see this. So right now, this is about the size of a YouTube video that's not maximized. But if you want it to be the size of your phone, you may want to hold your phone up and make it smaller. And then you can make these words as big as you need to for that. For this video, the idea is you've got it maximized on a computer. Yeah. So I'll do this. That's the maximum I can see it. But I think this would be how it is. So I think that is rather big as it stands. So I might even make that, I might take it down to 60. Yeah. Obviously make sure your words are centered. I also pull the text box to both sides to make sure it's exactly in the center. You may want to leave a little gap in the bottom here because when somebody moves their mouse on YouTube, the bar comes up to show you where they are, right? Most Western zoos have a more expensive entry fee, so really, if just one Westerner decides not to go to the zoo after seeing your video... Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Luke. If one person doesn't pay for a ticket, I've pretty much made that money back, in a sense, you know. I'm sure you guys can appreciate it's a tough sort of decision to pay for that. But yeah, in the end, I did decide it was worth it. I usually just go for white with a black stroke around the edge. I think there's probably no use in talking about the intricacies of fireworks, simply because I think nobody here is going to use it. Also stick a glow on it. Maybe not that obvious. Just a little glow. Okay. The font I usually go for is Century Gothic. Oh, make sure your canvas is invisible again. And make sure you're saving as a PNG. Okay, so stick that back in Zoocosis. And maybe I'll make a separate folder for translations. Okay, so I'm just going to number them. I think that makes the most sense. Make sure you are doing it as a PNG. Otherwise, this invisible background will become a white background. So we'll just save that, and we'll just import that. Is the fireworks program free? No. Although I'm not even sure if they make it anymore, to be honest with you. I've just kept the installation file. Okay, so you can see now it's hiding behind the aspect ratio bar, which I didn't anticipate, so I'm just going to have to move him up a little bit. Okay. This is going to create some problems as I make other subtitles, because I want them all to be the same. So actually what I'm going to do is take that back, and I'm going to take a photo here, so you can export a frame. Okay, browse, stick that wherever you want. I might keep it in downloads, because downloads I just consider my temporary files location, so I'll delete that later on, because I don't need it for much. And we'll just import that picture. Okay. And we'll just move that a little bit higher. For some reason I don't like how that looks. Yeah, if I take the bold off it, and I might even... No, I should keep a little bit of that on. Maybe a 3. Okay. There we go. And that's just going to load in. Okay. It's a bit late. And I think it's there. Songkung Cup. Okay, we'll save that as O2. Leon always uses Century Gothic as a writing style. I think I started using it. I wanted to see what they use in books. And another reason I use it is because I'm an English teacher, and the A is a simple A instead of the fancy A. So it's easier for my students. Okay, and that starts there. One thing I will say is always double, triple, quadruple check your writing. I've uploaded so many videos where there's like a spelling error or grammar error, and especially because I'm an English teacher, it looks so bad. So for example, I've got hello, and then a capital T. I've got no full stop there, you know. It seems stupid, but you should scrutinize yourself like this, because it doesn't take much effort to change. So we'll just open up. We'll just open up hello again. I'll just stick a little full stop at the end there. I know it's only small, but we want to try to be professional, especially if we're out here trying to save animals, you know. Cool. Okay. This will load in. It'll just happen later. Chester Zoo is charging £26 for an adult and £21 for a child, pre-booked. Wow. So there you go. I spent £10 for 2 people. So if one person doesn't go to the zoo because of this, I've saved my money. Saved my money? It has been worth it. I think this zoo in particular is like hemorrhaging money. So I'd figure they might actually pay for food with it for the animals. I wouldn't want to swear to that. They cut a lot of corners. So I don't know. Okay, and obviously try to match your cuts together. So I want that word to disappear with the cut. Okay, I'm saying what the fuck because there's 5 goats inside this, and that's where they spend the entire day. A lot of assholes used to copy my work, and I needed to do something unique with it, so I used a font that wasn't allowed. That's quite funny. They just literally copy your work, and then you change the font last minute before you submit. It's quite clever. Okay, so you can see I've got... My audio is not quite matching up with the visual. One little tip while we're in the COVID times is because you're wearing a mask, you can lie about when you're talking. So your mouth could be saying like, oh yeah, I had a cup of tea with my breakfast this morning. But you might want to match it with something you thought of later, like, wow, what we do to animals is disgusting. And it's just going to look like you're saying that. So there's one little upside to this whole pandemic. Yes, anyway, my point is I've got 2 audio clips here under 1 visual. And you could hear that. You can hear the cut. Okay. But because there's no talking, it's going to be so easy to match that, and we're in the same location as well. There was no way to... You can't hear it now. Okay. Is there really a Backstreet Boys reunion tour, Leon? There you go, we got that again. Okay, so here's an example of something you might want to cut. I just say, ask if they live in there. My girlfriend didn't hear me. I have to repeat. Obviously, I'm not going to keep both of those. But you can also see the huh and the ass is overlapping a little bit. So I might want to keep the first one. Okay. So ask her if they live in there. I want to keep that part. I want to get rid of the second part. Okay, so that's all the audio I want to get rid of. That's not necessary for anything. But I want to keep the visuals as smooth as possible. So I'll delete that part I don't need. And I'll pull the part I do need over here. And pull the visuals back there. And remember, right-click, ripple, delete. So let's hear that. Okay, that's pretty good, right? Okay. Okay, so this is not too interesting to see. And, you know what? Here's an excellent opportunity for me to show you something else. Remember, always save your projects, especially if you're doing something complicated, it can crash, and then you'll lose all your hard work. But yeah, maybe I want to do something like blur this lady's face. Okay. If I want to do that, you need to take the clip you want to do, Control C. Make sure you've got the layer selected that you want to do it, you want to copy into, you want to paste into. Make sure you're at the start of this clip and Control V. Okay, now you've got the same clip on top of each other. That looks a bit out of sync. Ah, you see, because I matched up with the beginning of this transition and not the beginning of this clip. So do be careful. Okay, we'll just go into the middle of the clip here. Oh, you know what? Okay, I might only keep this much because I want to show something else. I want to show the animals, right? So let's just do this. Go to Effect Controls with, I believe, the top one selected. Okay, I just want to blur, just for the sake of showing you guys, I just want to blur this lady's face. So we'll just pull that circle. Okay, so all I did was go down to opacity and click this circle. Okay, you can also draw or use a square. You're not allowed to say So the Game Grumps use the reunion tool. Oh, really? Okay, Game Grumps is Jontron and his mate, I think, isn't it? Okay. So what we've got now is a window. We've created a window for that face. That's all we're showing on the top layer is that face. Okay. So what we want to do here is use a Gaussian blur. Well, actually, there's two ways to do this. I'll show you this way first. We'll blur her face. Okay. We don't like this harsh circle, so maybe we want a feather. So a mask feather. Okay, how's that look? Looks alright, doesn't it? But it's not going to be great because it moves. So let's go back to where it was perfect, which was here. Okay. Now what we want to do is mask path. Okay. So just create a keyframe there. There's two ways to do this. You can just go frame by frame and keep drawing, or you can press, I think, this one, and it will attempt to do it for you. It's not great. When it's starting to go off track, hit stop, okay, and you'll keep everything it did so far. Jontron, Dan, Aaron. Not vegan. Can't give them time of day then, mate. Is there anything, I'm just going to keep asking because I think people are popping in and out. Is there anything that you really want me to cover? How to edit with Premiere? I'll give it a go. So this is going alright, actually. I've never seen it do it this well, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's tracking her face. And you can see on the left here, it's creating all these keyframes. Every single frame is deciding where her face is. It's trying to match the colors and the shapes and so on. But we're only going from this point, so we will also have to go back to this point and reverse. I'm just going to stop here just for the sake of showing you guys. So that's not too bad. We're actually out of the frame there, but I'll just go slowly through it. Okay. You can see that's pretty good. Now, the other thing we can do, if I just absolutely delete everything I just did, is again create the mask. Okay. Now, you don't have to only do blurs with this. You can do other things too. You may want to track something to look like there's something real in the background, or you know, there's so many ways you can use this skill to do other creative things. Yeah, so instead of a Gaussian blur, you may want to do, you know what? This would have been a lot better. I'm going to go back to when we had. It's not. never mind. Okay, I could have kept all those keyframes. It doesn't matter. Okay. The other kind, especially if you're making Japanese AV, is a... what the hell is the word? I've lost it. It's not pixel, is it? No. Mosaic. Okay, we're going to stick a mosaic on it instead. Okay. And it's up to you then how much you want to do it. We've got vertical blocks and we've got horizontal blocks. So we can do that if we want. That's not great, is it? Just whatever you think is appropriate for the situation. Okay, I think a lot looks better. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It looks like CCTV when they release CCTV on the news. And it's just going to be the same thing again. Unfortunately, you're going to have to do both. Okay, and you are going to have to do it yourself. Okay, so what I'll do is keep going until it's out of place, which is about there. I'm not going to have to do that, am I? Wow. You know what? I'm going to be honest here, right? Okay, I found it. I found the problem, guys. Okay. Sorry. In the mask. That's where we want to mask the path. And then it's the same. I totally confused myself. And again, it's just going to track this person's face. So just do whatever you think is appropriate. They both serve the same sort of purpose, so whatever you want. But anyway. So we'll have that. We've still got the audio here. Maybe I want to show some stuff. So maybe I'll go back here. I want to see what clip I used. It was GH010218. So I'll just look for that. You can also just type it in if you've got a lot going on in here like I do. Make sure you type it in correctly. 10218. Yeah. What? Come on. What? Where did it go? Okay, never mind. I don't know where it went, guys. Okay. Other thing we can do then, because I don't know where it went, is just copy and paste that. Okay. Maybe I just want to stick that there. Okay. See, remember we can reduce the quality if too much is going on, the computer's struggling. So that's just for an example. I'll come back and do something better a little bit later on. Okay, so what have we got going on here? Okay. Okay, here we go. It was a little bit difficult when I was here because I had to pretend like, you know, when you're sort of blind to what's really going on kind of thing, and you're like, oh yeah, zoos are really nice, you get to see animals. And you see them in the tiny cage, and you're like, ah, oh, so cute. I had to pretend to be like that. So there may be parts in here where you're like, wow, Reese, you actually don't care. It's like, I'm trying to play a part. But sneak preview here, actually, like a manager cutting down to us and was following us around a lot. Okay, and remember default. So here's one advantage of having these aspect ratio bars. That's just what I'm going to call them. Is you now have more space to play with in your video. So maybe I want to move the position a little bit. Is that the same thing I just said? No. Okay. Okay, it's just me feeding. Okay. So for here, I don't know if I want to keep it. Okay, so I might want to right click, hit label, and choose a different color. So maybe I'll choose purple, and that's going to stand out to me now. I don't know if I want to keep it. I make it a dark color. I feel like that's more like thinking of deleting. Okay. Espionage requires acting. Can't draw conclusions on the activist based on... Ah, thank you very much, Joy, for understanding. There is a conversation I had with one of the zookeepers when they sort of caught down to what we were doing, like filming the monkeys walking around in circles and stuff. Zookeeper came up to me and was talking about how great the zoo was and stuff like that. And I asked him a couple of hard questions. And he said answers I didn't really accept. But I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I would say things like, oh, wow, that animal really trusts you. Like, sounds nice, but it's a little bit of a backhanded compliment. Okay, so I've got all this footage here that I'm just going to cut around and do just what I've been showing you so far. Look at that. I know this isn't why we're here, but look at this. 5 goats in here spending the entire day. They only go somewhere else in the evening, apparently. Yeah, just wanted to say that's disgusting, isn't it? Okay. So all I'm going to be doing is cutting and pasting and stuff here. Look at this. Okay. So I've actually got a microphone on me, okay, and I've got the audio from the camera, and there's also a second camera going. So in some locations I do have 3 audios, and that becomes a little bit difficult to match up. So maybe I can show you what I did. So all I did, I say like monkeys, I just say something about the situation. So like outside the mall, outside the elevator, monkeys, gorilla. So I'll say that, I'll do like a click or I'll clap my hands, and then later I can find that on the microphone as well, and I can match them up perfectly. No spotting space. Yeah, no setting space to properly move in. Yep. It's ridiculous. Some of these cages I saw were absolutely foul. This is supposedly the saddest zoo in the world. So, you know, I'm not trying to big up other zoos or anything, but I don't know. It felt like most zoos I've been to be honest with you. Especially like petting zoos and stuff, you know. So now we're coming into the monkeys. And there you can see I've got the second microphone there. Okay, I'll show you what else I was editing earlier today. This is really, really early stages. So there you go. I just made a claim, right? And when you make a claim, especially when you're standing up for animals and doing something important like that, you need to source it, okay? I mean, nobody is going to doubt that orangutans are closely related to humans and are intelligent. But I did make a claim nonetheless. So I need to back that up. There's 2 ways to do this. You can Google orangutans intelligence. Okay, and you can just find like some magazine, even if it's a good magazine, you can use it. If you can, try to get it from Google Scholar, scholar.google.com. I can't spell orangutan. Intelligence. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'll get this one because it's from 2009. Okay, try to get something, let's get since 2017. 2019, people are going to believe that more. So jump in there. Actually, that was the wrong button. Jump in there. Okay. I want to jump into the PDF. Okay. And make sure what you're claiming is true. It takes a lot of work, but if you are doing something so important, you know, you need to back it up. Make sure you do find the evidence for what you're claiming. So, for example, now, let's say this part is the part that backs up what I'm saying, okay? If you're on Windows, get your snipping tool out. If you're on Apple, you probably have something like this, but you could also hit print screen. And make sure you're covering the part you need. Okay, so let's say I want this part, okay. Just copy that, and we'll get, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I want it to go on top of this, so it's probably best if I use this. So, if you remember, sorry, hit the camera function there, and that will help you make a screenshot. Okay, now let's open that video part there. Okay, and this is the part I want. Okay, so I will need to cut out the parts I don't want. There are many, many, many ways to show what you want to show. I started doing this after I saw Seaspiracy. I thought, actually, that's a really cool way to do it. So I want to have this, okay? I also want to have who it's from. So let's find the magazine. Is it from, is that the name? Intelligence. Okay. And you might want to use a site like Cite This for me as well. The other thing you can do in Google Scholar is hit that, and it'll show you what you need. Harvard is quite standard. It doesn't really matter what you use. It's up to you. If you want to cite in text, it's usually just like by Demarius and Laura, 2019 or whatever. But what I want here is, maybe I want that, okay? Oh, you know what? Let me get rid of this. I'm going to find the Intelligence Journal logo. Okay, and it needs to look something like that. It's such a bad logo, actually. Do we need that? See, with something like this, it's not always so easy. Okay, let's say we got it from BBC News. Just for argument's sake, we got it from BBC News. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that into here. We want things to look quite slick, right? So I'm going to use my magic wand, delete all the red in here. Okay, you don't need to be afraid to play around a little bit. So for example, I might want that part to go next to BBC. You know, I'm sure I've seen it like that before, so why not? So we'll have something like that, and then we'll have like the name of the author, which I guess is this part here. Got Fredson, 1997. Okay. And then make sure you've got somewhere linked up, like maybe it's in your description, or maybe like, for me, I use pastebin.com. because it frees up my description then. And make sure you're backing this up with a link then. Okay. Let me just remember how I did this. Okay. Okay, I think I'm mixing up two ways I do things. Thanks for stopping by, VegMet Codbod. Okay, I am mixing up two things here. So, I'll keep that to one side for now. Okay. And actually, I'm going to find that part I was just on. I suppose it doesn't matter which part I choose, does it? But I think it was that. And we'll pop that in there. And that's white. Okay. So play around with this, you know, find what works for you. One problem we are going to have is the background, see? This isn't great. So maybe I want to create a box. So we'll stick a black box. Make sure it's underneath. And we're going to turn right down until you can just about read, okay? Because what we really want to see is this orangutan. A lot of people are just going to be looking at the orangutan. Stick a glow on it, and then it feels more faded, okay? So there you go. I might play with this glow a little bit more. Just get what we can out of it. Looks exactly the same. And then we'll just copy and paste that. So my computer's doing a lot now. And we'll just stick that behind the rest of the writing on the page. For something like this is actually a picture, so we can just stick the glow straight on there. Okay, so that's not too bad. We can delete that. Hey, Vegan Something, nice to see you. We are looking at this sort of mini documentary I'm making called Zoocosis. I'll have a folder called Sources. And maybe orangutans, if I can ever spell that. Orangutans. Yeah. Okay, and we'll just import that. Okay, so let's find that claim. They're pretty intelligent. There we go. Ah, see, I've done exactly what I told you guys not to do. I've saved it as a JPEG. Okay, so let's find that again. Let's save it as a PNG. Okay. Just highlight, and then you can see. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'm done with that then. So I'll apply the default transitions to fade it in and out. It's still not good enough. Look at that. That's disgusting. It's not great. So whatever you're putting it on top of, make sure you cut underneath. We're going to stick... Don't cut it underneath. I've got a better idea. Find the place you want to be underneath. So go to the beginning of your source. Click on the clip underneath. So me and the orangutan here. I'm going to stick a Gaussian blur on that. Okay. Now, like I said before, nothing happens when you put on an effect. So now we can use this keyframe. So go down to Gaussian blur, hit the clock, and your keyframe has started. Okay. Go to the end of your transition, your default transition, your default fade there, and that's where we want the full effect of the blur. So maybe we want to go for 15. I may even want to go higher for this one. 18, and repeat your edge pixels. Okay. And then again, just go to the beginning of the transition out, make another keyframe, and then at the end of transition out, keyframe back down to 0. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so it's fairly seamless there. I will admit the logo is very, very large. We probably wouldn't do it that large usually. But this is just me doing things a little bit quicker than usual, just to show you guys. Another way I might want to show a fact or claim, I'll just use BBC News, but you can use this with your PDFs and whatnot too. Okay, let's say we really want, I don't want a long read, just go for this one, right? I have an extension, it's called Nimbus. Okay, I used to, when I wanted to show video, I would use OBS. I'll just show you OBS, because you will need to use this for some things. I wanted to get some clips of something on Netflix, and this was how I could record Netflix. It's called OBS, so you just download that, and it's as simple as clicking start recording, and it'll record your display. Yes, but if you just want to show a web page, download Nimbus, or you know what, install Nimbus into Chrome. What's happened? Do I need to install again? Maybe it was updated. Okay, go to Nimbus, click the dots, screenshot maybe. Usually I don't have to do this. So, okay, it looks like now you have to go Nimbus, go to the 3 dots, Nimbus screenshot, and then entire page. Perfect. Okay, so it has created this as a picture for us. So let's hit done. And we're just going to save that. Let's go back into Zoocosis, Patazu sources. I'm going to delete these anyway, so I'm not going to bother renaming that. Okay, so let's get that into here. Okay. I'm going to delete that for now. Find the beginning again. And I'm going to delete the Gaussian blur as well. I'm not going to use that. They're pretty intelligent. Okay. So maybe I want to start here to show it's BBC News, and I want to move down and it's there. Okay. So I would say zoom in as much as you can, really. So I think it's only like this this left section really that we need. And just play with that, make sure it looks okay. Okay, I think that's all right. So what we're going to do is hit the keyframe button on position there. Go forward a little bit, find your claim. Let's say it's there. And remember, this keyframe, right click, ease in, and the first one you made needs to be ease out. Okay, hasn't got a lot of time to work with, so it's not as smooth as usual, but still. Okay, now here's what I would do. I would take a screenshot of this and open that in Photoshop or whatever it is you're using. Okay, so I know that maybe this section is what we want, for example. Okay, so I'm going to make that a gray. I'm going to turn transparency way down. Okay, we don't need much at all. Okay, maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, and then delete the thing behind it. Okay, now we're going to save that. Make sure it's a PNG. I don't know why it's defaulting to JPEG right now, but just call it whatever you think is appropriate. I'm just going to call it overlay for now. We'll import that overlay. Okay, so find the location or the time where it stops moving. Chuck on the overlay. Okay. We want to put an effect on overlay, so find crop, throw that on there. Obviously we want it to be about the same as this, because we want to try to match this with my talking. Okay, so on crop, click the word crop and you can see everything. Take it all the way, turn the right up so you're at the end of this highlight, as close as possible really, and then hit your keyframe. Now find the part where you stop talking. So statement, the company said it accepted the ruling, and would. So find where I say the word would. Pretend it's there. And that's where I want that first keyframe. Okay, that's where I want it to end. Now find where I started the word statement. Yeah, that was there, let's say, okay. And now we need to move the right to the beginning of that line. Okay, so I'll try to make this a bit larger for you. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. We can try to make that a bit longer just to show you. And you know what? I'll put it on full as well. I thought I put it on full, but I didn't. There we go. Okay, so if that still looks a little bit too bright for you, remember you can always turn up the transparency. Okay, and it's just going to go straight in there. It might take a second to load, but there we go. It's up to you if you want to ease in. I think I usually do. Sometimes I do forget. Okay, and then probably I would have that hang a little bit. So just drag that along a little bit there. I don't know if you saw this, but the orangutan spit at me. It's very difficult to see. Okay, but again, there we got to match the sounds up and stuff, you know. So. Yeah, so I just need to cut around a little bit with this and carry on with what I've been telling you, really. And here's where I was having a secret conversation. So I was just filming this parrot a little bit. And you can see here I've got 2 cameras. I've got 3 audios. Actually, that should be like that, really. Never mind. I've got 3 audios here, and they're all matching. So one audio is from the camera that's filming right now. It's quite far away from me, so I might keep it, but turn it down a lot. One audio is coming from the camera I'm holding there. I probably won't keep that audio. And then more audio is coming from my neck, my lapel microphone. And that's the one I'll have on the Mac, the 100% volume to catch conversation. So it's always cool to cut from this sort of exterior shot. And then cut to what I'm seeing. That always looks kind of cool. And it kind of looks like you're quite professional as well, which is cool. Okay, so this guy comes to talk to me. Okay, so we've got the camera audios are way too loud. I think that's the microphone. So that's a lot nicer, right? So I'm probably going to turn this down a lot. I just want some ambience from that. It's a very long clip, so it does take a little while. What I might do, I might just cancel that, and because this is just for an example, I might just cut that down smaller. So there you go. We'll put a -20 on that. We'll stick a -20 on that. What? I put 29. I turned it way up. -20. Okay. So we'll just we can play with that later. You can't hear the audio from Adobe. For real? No way. Let's check that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Near Punawiti.
There we go. It must have been when I accidentally turned off my computer. We cannot hear it. Well, you are a cool person, so take the coolness cut as a compliment of skill. Yeah. So let's go to that conversation. I kind of want to show you that.
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับสบายดีนะครับ
ขอโทษครับ
How are you
Oh, I'm very well. How are you?
Okay you first time in Patasu
Chai, yes.
Oh ครับ you working in Bangkok
Yeah.
Wow
Near Punawiti. Near Punawiti.
Oh ครับ Yes
for-
welcome to Patasu
So this is a guy who approached us, and he's trying to tell us about how great the zoo is, because he can see that we're trying to film like the bad things. So if I want to use this video, I don't want to show this guy's face, right? So this is another opportunity for me to blur out a face. It's not fun. You know, when you're filming, it's great if you don't actually show him. So maybe just don't show the face and pull the camera down a little bit. It's going to save you a lot of time in editing. But yeah, that's another time. I might, if I want to be really serious, I might want to change how their voice sounds. Okay, and this isn't something I usually use Premiere for, but we can give it a go. Usually I would use Adobe for that, but we'll try it.
to Patasu
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to Patasu
Oh, so we got this part. He says, "Welcome to Patazu." Okay, maybe we're like, "Oh wow, he's gonna get in trouble for saying that." So
Welcome to Patasu
okay. Oh, so sometimes I use this when I make some comedy stuff. Maybe I need it to sound like someone's on the phone, right? This one is called parametric equalizer. Okay, parametric. That was suddenly super loud. Is it? I'm sorry, guys. I'll turn that down a bit. I think that might be a bit better for you. Yes, awkward laughing. Yeah, you're right. So maybe I want to stick like an old-time radio on it. Okay, all I've done there, search parametric equalizer. I've pulled it over onto the clip I want. I've hit edit, and I've chosen a preset. Okay, you can play with this, but in the beginning, just use a preset. Let's see how that sounds.
Yes.
Ah, thank you.
Okay, so that didn't really do much, to be honest with you. But it did change the voice. So if you want it to sound like somebody is outside the window or on the phone, that's ideal for you. The other thing we can do is change the pitch. So I just type in pitch, got pitch shifter. Okay, I accidentally pulled over this obsolete version. So you pull it over and a little message pops up and it tells you, oh, you know, we don't use this anymore. So we've given you this one. Same again, preset. Let's make him an angry gerbil. See how that sounds. Okay.
Ah, thank you. Yeah.
Or maybe we want to sound the Dark Lord.
Yes.
Ah, thank
It's not great, is it? But some examples of what you can do, you can play with these.
Yes.
Okay. But generally speaking, I would use Audacity for this kind of thing. Hello and welcome to Pata Zoo. We really look after our animals and we don't cut corners, and they're definitely not going insane in there. Okay. Hello and welcome to Pata Zoo. Okay, so we'll control A that, we'll hit effect, and we'll change the pitch of that. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Pata Zoo.
Okay. I'm not sure if you can hear that. It seems to be coming out of my desktop, but...
Hello and welcome to Pata Zoo. We really look after our animals.
Okay, so maybe we want to do that, and then we'll export that and pull it in. Okay. But I know what you're thinking. I want this exact little bit.
Ah, thank
Welcome to Pat. Yes.
Okay, so we've got this. Welcome to Pata Zoo, right? So, this in and out that we've been doing over here, we can also do here. So, I for in.
Welcome to Pat.
Okay, find exactly where you want to stop. Click O. Okay, and now when we export this, it's only going to export that. So, export. So we went File, Export Media. Okay. And we'll go here on the right. Usually you can just match the sequence settings. Okay, that's usually what you're going to want to do. I actually never use this. I'm always H.264. Okay. And then the preset can match the source. Output name, whatever. In this scenario, I just want the sound. So I'll come down here to MP3. And I'm just going to stick it in downloads. And we'll just export that. So you can see that was so quick because it just exported this 1 second. So let's open the clip. Okay, here we are. Same again, Control A, Effect, Echo. Not Echo. Effect, change pitch. Okay, so just pull it down from 0. You can see the numbers here. About -20 will give you this effect. Okay, maybe you want it to lower. Maybe you want it to sound like a gerbil. Okay, if you want to be serious, probably lower is better. Okay, so we'll just say we're happy with that. There are other effects we can play with, but just for now, let's just keep that. Export. I tend to export as an MP3. I'm not entirely sure why I do that. I feel like it's a higher quality. I might just want to replace that. Okay, so we'll jump back in here. We'll import the new sound. And because it's exactly the same, you can just pull it over. Okay, just pull it straight from there and onto there.
Yes.
Ah, thank
Okay, and obviously when you're doing something like this, you might want to put the subtitles there as well. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much all I got to show you because I can't think of what else I can show you right now. Maybe I'll give you a little preview of what we're talking about.
Because he's old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very old. Because he come in Tata to about 20 years old. War, very strong.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But Boi Noi is come to Tata to 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
Very small.
So how old is Boi Noi now?
Yeah.
How old now?
So now Boi Noi is 31 years.
31, nearly 30 years. Wow.
Yeah. It's in the
That's some good acting, isn't it? How long's the gorilla been here? Oh, about 30 years. Oh, 30 years. Wow.
in the Asia,
Yeah.
Tata Zoo is can feed animal until die, until old and die.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In the Singapore,
Yeah.
have a gorilla one.
Okay, I'll just skip around a little bit, show you. So, this guy's taking me, and he's showing off all these animals. And now he wants me to play with this sad little monkey. And he did actually, the monkey did sit in my hand as well. That was a very awkward experience.
Hello. Oh, you want my camera?
ไม่มาแล้วมาเมื่อกี้ไปเล่นกล้องนะโลพี่ครับโกฝรั่งเหรอโลพี่ครับโกฝรั่ง
Yeah. Really good job. Thank you. 30 years confined, literally. They did have a sister, I believe. For the first 10 years, the sister died. And now she's been on her own for like 20 odd years. Older than me. And spent all of her life inside that cage. It's pretty depressing. But there's a lot of activists trying to get the zoo closed, trying to get the gorilla out of the zoo. Let's see if I can find her. Oh, there she is. She's here. She spent most of her time inside this tiny area. You can see this is her cage, right? She's got a little TV up here. And she does have AC, I believe. Oh, not AC. There's like a removable roof to regulate temperature and stuff. And she's just stuck in there, and you can just tell she's depressed. Like she was just walking around this orangutan. You can see the orangutan's eyes, you know. I feel like orangutans are so close to humans that we can more or less accurately see their emotions. I don't want to make any claims before I speak to a psychologist, an animal psychologist, but yeah. Let alone the acting in general. How'd you pull off the not crying? I'm quite good at this cognitive dissonance kind of thing. I can just turn it on and off. Luckily, I don't use this power for evil. But for example, when I'm editing slaughter footage, like sort of like my Let's Talk About videos, I just have to sort of switch off and just focus on the editing. Focusing on how I'm going to edit. Sometimes it is hard. And especially when I was making the fish one, a lot of the times I was like gagging. Especially when I was like looking for videos of people eating fish and like mukbangs and stuff like that. I was like absolutely gagging. Yeah, in this scenario, I was just sort of focused on the job. Or just like getting into the mindset of someone who enjoys zoos, which was me like 2 years ago. I think the last time I went to a zoo was about 2 years ago. Or an aquarium, actually, about a year and a half ago. So it's not totally lost how that felt. You know, I can still tune into that. Yeah, I'm quite good at this, I suppose. Should we have a quick go at color correction? Okay, color correction isn't my strong suit in the slightest, but you can see at the top here we've got lots of different styles. So right now we want to do some coloring. So just hit that, it'll take a second, it'll reconfigure. That is not good, reconfiguring. So we'll put that across a little bit. Okay. What is really cool here is we already have looks we can choose. Okay. And this is what I tend to go for, and then you can adjust a little bit. So just find one that you like, just play with it a little bit. So for example, we've got this neutral. We've got I think we have a film noir one here, maybe that one. Film noir. Different camera styles, I think. So just find what works for you. The only thing is you're going to want to keep it throughout, really. So you want to play with like yellows and blues, or oranges and blues, sorry. Especially if you're looking at people. Oh, that wasn't good. Maybe it ought to be the other way around. So you can just play with that. Maybe you want to turn up some saturation, or... I'm not the best person for this. I'm just showing you where you can do this. Oh, one other thing, we can have a vignette, which is cool. Which means... Oh, the opposite way. Which means you've got sort of a shadow around. You might want to use this if you want to do like a dream sequence, or you might want to talk about something that's in the past. Okay, you can see that's an extreme version of a vignette there. And you might want a feather. Yeah, so I'm not going to keep what I just did, but it's just showing you where you would go to play with colors. A lot of the time I'm too lazy. I don't bother. But you can see even that then, just messing around, this looks a lot better than this, which is how it looked originally. You know, and that was just a few seconds of playing around, so I would play with that a little bit. I would just say learn from a different YouTube video, honestly, because I'm a beginner when it comes to color. I am going to wrap it up quite soon, so if you want me to show you anything else, or if you just want to ask me any questions, that's fine. If you want me to show you anything else, try to tell me by past. Okay, I don't know what time it is for you, but when it goes to 30 minutes past, get your editing questions in by then. I'll sort it out. Anything after that, we'll just go into a little chat, little Q&A, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Some people can't even cry. I've been able to cry in years. Go pretty blank sometimes when I'm overwhelmed. Okay, they're just having a bit of a chat in there about it. This is one of the things when you're an animal rights activist, like a lot of you in the chat are, or at least aspiring to be, you do have to deal with a lot of horrible footage. For example, I do show, well, let's say for example, chicks being ground up alive, right? I do show that. So you do have to watch this footage, and you have to watch it again and again and again to make sure the edit is nice and it flows. So it's not easy. But, you know, you get used to it, which isn't a nice thing to say, but you do. But the thing is, you know, if it's upsetting you, hopefully it's going to upset the person watching. And hopefully, you know, you're targeting non-vegans anyway. So it's up to you if you want to put a warning on this. Sometimes I do put a warning, sometimes I don't. Because I feel like if you put a warning, like slaughterhouse footage coming in 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, it gives people a chance to click off. And those are the exact people who need to see it. So I kind of like want to force them to see, in a way. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Thanks, Leon. Leon wants to give me a big old hug. Okay, I'm going to jump back in to this mode. Great. So if you want to get in any questions just for me personally, or about veganism, or whatever you want, we can do that. We'll do that for maybe 10 more minutes, and then I'll log off. It's 10:30 in the evening here. But thank you all for sticking around. I think we did get quite a few people in at one point, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and if I can ask you a question, was there anything today that you learned? And is there anything for next time, if I were to do this again, that you would want to see? Maybe I can prepare a certain style of thing, something with more animations, for example. Leon wants to hug the non-human animals too. Absolutely. Yeah, most can't see it. It's a non-vegan world. It's weird, isn't it? You forget sometimes. You forget, and then you see someone order a hamburger, and you're like, "Oh yeah, people eat dead animals, don't they?" Oh, I remember now. Okay, I'm not seeing anything come up in the chat, so that's probably a good sign. That means I've done my job here. Okay, next time I will either be doing an outreach practice, which means you would come on and talk to me or another vegan and do some practice outreach. We would pretend to be a non-vegan, and you can just try before you go out and do it for real. Or we might do a vegan pub quiz where I'll invite some people on. So just let me know which one of those you want to do. You don't have to answer now, just leave it in the comments, whatever. But most of all, thanks everyone for stopping by. And you know, I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers now. It's only happened in a short few months, so thank you so much for that. Level Joy, definitely learned a few things. I've been working with Adobe for a bit now, but still figuring it out. I think the basics, they don't take too long to pick up, but all of these extra more advanced things, they take a while and they can be quite confusing. Definitely. Vegan something, good job, man. Martin says both ideas sound fun. Okay. Well, we'll see then. I think I'll be doing it next Saturday. You did well. I will rewatch this a couple of times when I start editing. Thanks very much. Maybe next time I'll plan something a little bit extra. I just thought I'd show you what I'm working on right now, and there's some basic editing techniques there that you could use. Outreach probably has my preference. Okay. Well, so far all the votes are for Outreach. Maybe around Tuesday or something I'll upload, or you know, I'll schedule it so you'll see what's going on. It'll be around the same time next week.